So we have a channel debut for the TRF211XM. Nice. Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again thank you for stopping by. So in this video we're going to have a good look at the TRF211XM. It's quite a thing, to be honest. Now before we start, I want to give a massive shout out and a thank you to Dennis and his brother Ken, who let me borrow these cars. It's massively appreciated. Dennis has bought a job lot of like ex-team TRF drivers cars, 211s, 503s, 511s, 801s, and he races them all, and this is his two-wheel drive that he races, which is the X211XM. So it's got full electrics in, it's all dirty, it's as it was supposed to be, and it's the first time I've ever seen this car in the flesh. So the 211XM came out in June 2015 on part number 42288. Now I actually thought that this was the last two-wheel drive TRF car from Tamiya, but as I was just doing a little bit of research of that, it turns out that it's not, because the last one was the TRF201XR in 2019. So this has like a white sort of plastic bathtub chassis. The XR looks very similar in its geometry, but it looks like it's got a metal chassis. Now obviously there'll be way more differences than that, but that was just, I thought this was the last one, and it's obviously not. So let's drag the camera over and we'll have a good look at this thing. Now I do own the original 201 TRF 201, so we'll as we go with this video, we'll put this side by side, because this is very different. This is one of the most modern looking Tamiya cars I've ever seen, to be honest. It looks, even today, I know it's like 5-6 years old, but even today it looks like the two-wheel drive cars you can buy from other manufacturers. Anyway, let's whiz the camera over. Right, so there we have it. Now I know what a lot of the comments are going to say on this video. They're going to say it's okay, but it's way too modern for my liking. And I understand that, I fully understand that, to be honest. As I say, it still looks like a kind of a modern day racing buggy, even though it's 5-6 years old, really narrow and what have you, and cab forward and that. But yeah, it's a nice looking thing actually. To be honest, the more I look at it, the more I think, yeah, I won't mind one of these, to be honest, for the collection. Obviously, definitely not planning on any more TRF cars for myself, but even when I first saw it and I collected it, I was like, yeah, it's okay. I kind of knew what it was going to look like, but now I'm seeing it here. It does look kind of cool. Right, with the top off. I like this white chassis. It looks cool. It's heavily velcroed. So we've got obviously a low profile servo in there. Feels like a really high-end one. It really does, just by feel. Obviously we've got the receiver, we've got this bit of carbon. It's running LRP brushless combo, which apparently is kind of period correct for this car. So we've got this LRP SXX competition speedo. Never seen one of those before. Looks a nice piece of kit, that. And then we've got the presume LRP. Can't see any markings on it, but Dennis did say it was LRP. Brushless motor. And then we've got a fan at the back. Obviously it's running aeration big bores as standard on the kit. And we've got the slipper clutch at the back, which when I bring the other 201 you'll see it's quite similar. I'm guessing this has got a much longer wheelbase. I was just looking at the angle of the, let me just lift this camera back a little bit. I was looking at the angle, maybe you can see it better there, of the arms on the rear, like they're swept forward, and I was wondering, do you have the option to reverse those for a longer wheelbase? But I don't know if that's even a thing, or if that's just how it's meant to be. Again, stick in the comments if you know that. I'm always eager to learn. It's not a very heavy car either. I guess you wouldn't expect that with it being a competition car, but yeah, it's because it's got all the electrics in it, it's quite light. I think Dennis said, and I should have done my research, I think it's got some 3D printed, so it fits a shorty battery in it. I'm not too sure if it's what the standard one came with. Again, this is an ex-team driver's car, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. Very nice looking thing. Right, let's drag my 201 over. Right, so obviously this is my 201 from I should have looked at the year. What is it? 2010, 2008, maybe. Can't remember. But it's very different, isn't it? Front shock towers look incredibly similar. Obviously, this car came with the small bore aeration shocks as opposed to the big bore. What else is, obviously the chassis layout is completely different. It's probably the most telling, or before we get there actually, obviously that rear shock tower, it's carbon on the XM, but it's the reinforced graphite, I think it is, on the... Sorry, I'm just looking at the gearboxes now. So obviously the 201, the motor's right at the back, whereas, and then obviously you got your wing and your shock tower, but on the XM it's come a lot more forward. So on your 201 your motor's behind your back wheel, and on your XM it's basically just sort of on par and almost in front of it, and it fits to the same side. No, it doesn't, sorry, and the motor fits to a different side. But the motor plates on the 201 and the 211 XM, they do look very similar. I'd probably imagine it uses the same setup there and the same slipper clutch. But again, if any of you experts know that, please stick that in the comments. And then, so for me, because I'm a little bit old school, I do prefer the look of the 201. Now obviously this is my own, I spent a lot of money on it. It's got the Team, a Team Azari aftermarket 201 shell on it. It's got a different wing, so it does look slightly different. But even with the bog standard Tamiya 201 shell, I do think it just looks better because it looks more older against obviously the more modern looking 211 XM. Now, I have a question for you, and these things always interest me. If the same driver on the same track had both these cars with the same electrics in it, now obviously you can't drive two together, I understand that at the same time, but if it was there all day just to practice with these two cars, would the 211 XM annihilate the older 201? I'm guessing it would, you know, and I'm talking about a top driver, not just someone like me who drives in car parks. Would the difference be huge, you know, given like the sort of technology and the geometry changes, or would this one still hold its own against something like that? I guess that's a question just for you racers, but if you can answer that question in the comments, it'd be massively appreciated, because I like to know stuff like that. But it's actually really nice to see them together. Very different, but a lot of similarities at the same time. So that's basically it. Very cool car indeed. It's probably not something I'd have in my collection. I don't know why I'm lying. Yeah, of course I would have it in my collection. I was going to say it's a bit too modern, but it's not. It'd be a lovely car to have. Maybe Dennis will sell me this one and I'll clean it up and retire it to the shelf. What do you think, Dennis? Leave in the comments. I'm joking. But yeah, a massive thank you to Dennis and Ken for doing what they do, which allows me to make these videos on cars that I just obviously normally wouldn't do. So it's massively appreciated, and it's quite a thing. It really is quite a thing. Anyway, I'll end that video here. So once again, my friends, thanks so much for watching. It's massively appreciated. If you are new to this channel and this is the first time you've seen what we do, if you could please consider giving this video a thumbs up and then hit that subscribe button. And if you do all that, smash that notification bell for our weekly videos. And as always, my friends, happy RCing.